Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're gonna play a game, right Mike?
I like games.
We're playing a game called Am I a Bridezilla? Are you a groomzilla?
As of right now, maybe. I had a groomzilla morning this morning.
Yes.
I was a little rah.
It was a bit of a sassy morning in relation to our wedding. However, we're going to live vicariously through these stories.
Everything is totally fine.
Everything's fine. All right, so we're playing a game called Am I a Bridezilla? All of these stories are from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit, so if you haven't subbed to that, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Am I the a-hole for making sure there weren't many photos of my oldest sister at my wedding because she's a self-centered
Ooh, grab your popcorn.
popcorn grab your teeth? Hey everyone, I thought I would give some context before going into the Am I the a-hole situation.
Bring in the context.
Me, 28 female, my sister now 32, never saw eye to eye and never really got along as I'm not a very selfish person and I don't like being the center of attention. But she is the opposite. She's loud, she has to be the center of attention and everything has to be about her. And if you're not talking about her, helping her, or the day is mainly about her, she will not be interested.
It has to be about her all the time.
I know this sounds mean, but I blame my grandparents as she was the firstborn. They did a lot for her, bought her stuff. She had her own room at theirs. When she was 16, they bought a car and paid for her to travel the world when she was 18. Because she was spoiled by them, that's the reason she is the way she is now. It's sad because she never will change.
Change is scary.
When she was 18 plus, she would drink nearly every weekend, come back loud, waking everyone up, as 18-year-olds do. But she did this until she was 30 years old, and I sometimes think she's still a young teen as she doesn't act like a 32-year-old woman, and would have a giggity-goo.
And we're gaming.
Can't say that on YouTube. So loudly, keeping everyone awake, which is just disgusting to hear. I mean, I'm sorry, but I definitely don't want to be hearing my family members giggity goo.
I don't like anybody's giggity goo, but
Nope.
especially my family's giggity goo.
You don't like our giggity goo?
I don't know what giggity goo you're referring to.
Oh, shots fired! Okay, excuse me.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
Wait. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't like other people's giggity goo. Goo goo gaga.
Through the years, my other sisters started to dislike how she was, and we all started to tolerate her as we don't trust her and we can't see eye to eye with her personality, as me and my two older sisters are very similar and get along like besties. When it came to her 30th birthday, she decided to celebrate her birthday and have a party on my birthday.
Hey, it's my birthday!
Typical narcissist behavior.
You know, when you see like two little kids and the other little kid won't be happy celebrating their sibling's birthday unless they also have a cake.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like what that is.
My cake! That being said, like, I also want a cake.
You can have a piece of their cake, but not your own cake. I was so upset and angry as I planned to have dinner with our family, but she sent invites out to all the family and her friends apart from me and now my husband because she knew I would say no. What a bitch.
Dude, honestly.
I was so shocked how everyone was fine with it and didn't say anything about it. Her birthday is a month before mine. What the actual frick was going through her mind? If I had my birthday party on her birthday, she would have gone crazy and probably most likely had a hissy fit like a little kid. I confronted her on it and all she said is that it's her birthday when it wasn't. She was already 30 and could have had a summer party but decided to have an autumn party. She said I could go, but I wasn't allowed to make it about me and I would need to buy a cake if I wanted people to sing happy birthday to me, which was like, hell no. Now you have a bit of context regarding how she is. It came to my and my husband's wedding, and during the planning, I didn't want my older sister part of our wedding. I asked my other two sisters to be my bridesmaids. I had to ask her as my dad and mom were saying that I was being mean and unreasonable. Funny how they get mad when she's excluded, but not you. I just didn't want my time/milestone to be taken away from me because of her. So I asked her eventually, but I didn't want to. I didn't have a maid of honor as my friend decided not to be friends with me anymore as I was close to another girl who was my colleague. But that's another story. Ooh, the tea. When discussing to the photographer about pictures, I said, please can we have less photos of her? And when it came to planning, who was walking down the aisle first as we were having the wedding at my dad's. And the patio, you could fit about 5-6 people in a line, but there was 7. So I knew it would be best for her to go down first. On the day, the videographer and photographer actually had to set up where she would stand so they can get shots of me and my husband walking down the aisle. She got pissed off with them and made a scene saying they had to move, which they ignored, and she had to stand behind them, which she complained to everyone at the wedding. If you bring me any problems on my wedding day, I will be very upset. I will then cause a problem. I will go full bridezilla.
She won't be Charmeleon.
No.
Bridezilla. She'll be Charizard. It's not your day. Like,
it's
go
not
away.
your day. Like, stop bringing the
some
bride
hay,
and groom
lay by the
problems.
bay.
Yeah. When we were looking through the wedding photos with family, she made the first comment, which was, "I'm not in any photos. Great. You can't see me. Me. Which made me snap and said, who cares? It wasn't your wedding. It wasn't your day. At the end of the day, did you enjoy yourself? Did you get to dress up and have fun? Why does it matter about photos? Why does it matter that you're not in the spotlight? You'll get your moment one day, just not then. Get used to it." Room went silent. My sister cried and walked off and called me a selfish, which my mom stuck by her, and my aunt said she was being dramatic, which is her life. Drama, and I also believe she's a narcissist from the behavior she shows. How she is with our mom, it worries me.
It always annoys me when parents defend this behavior.
I know,
They're like,
so
oh,
annoying.
it's just the way that she is. No, Karen, she's a...
You know what's even more annoying is when, well, I'm not going to take sides. When there's a side that's clearly right. So, am I the a-hole for doing that? I feel like it's a bit mean, but this is years of rage building up, and this was my only way to control something she couldn't. When you say that there weren't any photos of her, were there actually no photos? Like, not even like family photos of her at all?
Because that would be kind of mean.
I understand where you're coming from, I do. But, you know, who knows? Maybe there'll be a time where you guys have a bit of a better relationship and you'll look back on wedding photos and be like, oh, she like wasn't in there. I highly doubt that there were no photos at all. Maybe she was just exaggerating. I don't know.
The birthday part to me is the weirdest part. You know, over time you may heal your relationship, and so you may regret not having her in photos, but her having a tantrum says that there's something off with her mentally.
Yeah, I am curious to know whether there was actually no photos of her or like not many photos of her, because like normally we do take photos with family at weddings, right? There's like honestly not really often times where there are lots of photos of me at weddings. It's kind of rare for me to see more than like a couple anyway.
We always dress up really nicely. And
Yeah,
we never
take
get
your
any
own photos.
Well, we never get photos of each other.
We have so much fun that we rarely get photos of each other at weddings.
We have fun. Yeah, this one isn't as clear cut to me as possible. I mean, the
It's not
relationship makes it
clear-cut.
a bit more complicated.
Just a little bit sassy. Let's read the comments though. Yeah, I'd straight up stop talking to her, like full no contact. She clearly doesn't care about you, so drop the rope. If mom and dad get upset, tell them they picked and drop that rope too. Edit, not the a-hole. This person says you're not a bridezilla. I also would find it interesting if your sister was at all worried about like the way that you looked in photos and like said nice things about like, oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Or if literally the only thing she cared about was the fact that she wasn't in any photos.
That's the part that I'm kind of curious
Yeah.
about. Like, did she say anything nice to you? Was she kind to you?
Yeah.
Did she get you a card?
We need more context.
Was she up there early doing makeup with you at like 5 a.m., maybe
Yeah.
6 a.m.? There's a lot of context. We need context.
Not the a-hole. One day your sister's gonna learn that everything is not about her and do something stupid that will probably get her in trouble with the wrong person. It's best she learns now instead of later, but it looks like your parents and grandparents are still gonna enable her behavior. If I were you, OP, I would consider going no contact or low contact with your sister and low contact with everyone else that enables that behavior. You don't need that drama in your life.
I think like I can understand where older people are coming from when
Yeah.
they say like let them like just salvage a relationship because they're probably older. Maybe they made bad decisions and they
Yeah.
lost touch with friends and family, and they're like 60 or 70 and they're like, I wish I had that time back. I wish I realized that it didn't matter. You know, maybe you're upset and it's okay to be a little petty, but don't excommunicate her. Don't do things that are gonna like ruin your relationship with her, you know?
Totally. You're better than her. Remember that.
Yeah.
We don't like to stoop, even though stooping can be fun. Stooping. Not the a-hole. It was your and your husband's day, not hers. She got what she deserved. What's making me ick is your sister's going to her birthday party instead of doing something on your birthday. This has me completely taken aback, especially because you say you're besties. Maybe for this one, we're gonna say you are not a bridezilla. You might have been a little petty, my dear. Clearly, this has been years and years of this mistreatment. So I get where you're coming from. I do. She was probably just pissed off that like photo album didn't contain a ton of photos of her.
You're not a bridezilla, okay? But that was petty, and I like that.
Yes, we can move on.
Moving on.
Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she's a bridezilla because she doesn't let us poop in her wedding?
What? Like, during the ceremony or at all?
I don't know. Let's find out. It's a short one. It sounded really funny, so I kind of wanted to dip a toe in, you know? I know the title is crazy. Let me resume this. I apologize in advance for my grammar. English is not my first language. You are forgiven. I, 30 female, have 5 sisters. The second one is Marlene, 42 female, that recently got engaged with her 3rd husband. The wedding was a Sunday afternoon in the countryside in a beautiful field of a farm. We had amazing weather and everything seemed perfect. Except one thing.
No pooping! We must not shiza in the field.
You were not shy size. The location of the wedding was a 25-minute walk from the house with proper bathrooms and toilets. Absolutely not!
So, how do you know? And
Oh my god.
Or nor.
You know what? This actually happened at a wedding recently where like the welcome party was on a beach and it was legit like a 15-20 minute walk and you needed a fob. Like you needed to be staying at the designated hotel in order to be able to go back to a bathroom.
That's just for the poopy, but for the guys, it was funny because you could just see a bunch of guys sort of popping out of trees, just like peeing. And they thought they were being so sneaky, but you could see them all.
You could see them all. And like, I'm not ashamed to admit that I also peed in the sand, like behind a bush. At first I went back to, you know, the hotel to pee, but then I realized, yo, this is literally like a 25-minute detour. Plus we had to wait for someone with a fob to like come back and let us into the beach area where the party was. Let me just say, the pooping is and the peeing, you must making sure when you have this event that people have a place to poop and to pee.
Those are very wise words.
The solution my sister had, portable toilets, one for the ladies and one for the men. I mean, better than nothing, honestly. The problem, Marlene forbid everyone to poop in this toilet because it can ruin the moment.
How about shusting during the ceremony if you can't use the frickin' toilet?
Shusting? Is that like a Hebrew word for
No.
poop?
Shusting? It's like the German word for emptying the butt chamber. I call it a Hershey squirt.
Ew. My grandmother is a 92-year-old lady with hip problems, so when she tells me she needs to poop, walking up to the house wasn't an option. So I told Marlene about it, that she could have an exception with grandma, but she denied it. She said that I, quote, let the old woman walk. I don't give a... No pun intended, I assume. If it takes her all afternoon. I saw red. I immediately took grandma to the toilet. She made the business and took her back to her seat. She thanked me. Marlene obviously went to the toilet to supervise. You're supervising the poo-poo?
Wait, she was watching her take a poop?
Wait, why are you poopervising?
You a poopervisor? Are you a pooperia?
Okay. Poop.
So I tell her she was a reptile monster. Here in my country, it's not common the name for bridezilla, for not letting grandma go to the toilet in peace. And I encouraged everyone to take a shit in the portable toilets. If the groom wasn't next to her, she would have strangled me. She began to cry and said that the wedding was ruined. My other sisters went to comfort her and I left the wedding. So am I the a-hole?
No, you're not the a-hole.
She is a bridezilla who literally tries to control people's bowel movements. Like, are you
Ironically,
insane?
she is an athlete. Like a huge a-hole.
Maybe I didn't respect some boundaries and ruin her day, but poor grandma. No, dude, like, I'm sorry, that is a very unreasonable boundary. What if you had diarrhea?
Yeah.
You know? I've had that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, ain't nothing stopping me from pooping.
There are a few things that are certain in this world. Death, taxes, and pooping and peeing. It's gonna happen. You're gonna poopy. You're gonna stoopy. Okay?
You're going to make me stupid.
Yeah.
She's definitely, without a doubt, without question, a bridezilla.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Your grandma was in her 90s. On what planet would your sister, who's in her freaking 40s and old enough to know better, be the one who is right? Then she goes all drama saying, you ruined her wedding. Totally not the a-hole. You were just being the good granddaughter. It's not even about the grandma for me. Like, that is obviously the icing on the cake that you wouldn't let, like, an old woman go to a bathroom, go to a porta-potty and take a But it's like all of it. It's like everybody and her having a problem with people taking a
I'm starting to see why maybe this was her third marriage.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Ooh.
Sorry, that was really mean. I'm sure she's actually like a nice person. She just wanted to have
No, she's not. I don't get how you equate ruining a wedding with people going number 2. Like,
I went to
don't.
this wonderful wedding. It was perfect. The only thing is the bathroom smelled like poo because
people
Someone
were
went to the
pooping.
bathroom to poop. Sound logic. Logic. Okay, more comments. More!
Definitely not. She is the a-hole. You should not be holding in natural body functions, including farts, pooping, peeing, throwing up, etc. Your grandmother's already pretty old, no offense. Love your random grandmother, but that is not fair to her or anyone. She should have thought the venue out more carefully if she didn't want her guests to poop, especially if dancing after eating. On no planet can you tell people not to at your wedding.
I'm like a twofer. I do like, on average, at least one poop a wedding.
There you go.
There you go.
Is it even a party if you do not party poo?
You have to poop at parties.
Yeah, you must poop at the party. Otherwise, this is really a party. You don't poop at the party, and it's not a party.
We were just in New York and I concert and I had to go poopy. And afterwards, I felt like a new man. I felt like I was on spaceship floating. This was a fun one. More poop stories. I like poopy.
We like poop.
Stinky fun.
Is she a bridezilla? A couple of days ago, my friends got married. Mina and Chris, 31 and 33. Lovely from the pics I saw, couldn't make it. But the drama afterwards. Kimmy, 31, one of the bridesmaids, is dating Josh, 34, who was a groomsman. The issue wasn't at the wedding, but after. After the reception was over, Kimmy and Josh apparently went for a walk on the beach near the venue, and he proposed.
Ooh, I feel like that's so taboo.
Was anybody else there? Are we like posting about it also on the same night?
I feel like some people would be like, oh, I love it. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
propose.
yeah.
I love is love. And some people would be like, it's my hidden day. All right?
Yeah. I think it's probably best to maybe check with the bride and groom if it's
100%.
okay first, like not just to go ahead and do it. Maybe it was like something that he was, waiting for the right moment or something, and that just happened to be it. I don't know. Anyway,
It's a stinky thing to do.
let's get some context, okay? Once again, this was after the wedding was over. They didn't sneak off and come back. Wedding was on a Saturday. It is now Monday, and Kimmy posted photos on social media of the ring and a picture they took from the night. Okay, so they waited a couple of days. They didn't steal the thunder. At first, everyone was all happy and congratulatory. Then someone points out that she is wearing the bridesmaid's dress from the wedding.
Oh. Well, it was a nice dress. Maybe it just fit her great. Like she was happy with how she looked in it. I don't know.
Whatever. The picture was kind of like a selfie with them and the ocean in the background, not a full outfit of the day type picture. So it wasn't very noticeable that it was the bridesmaid's dress. Well, bride gets mad. She starts calling and yelling at Kimmy about how she ruined her day. It was kind of after the fact though.
It was after.
And that she made it all about her. When Kimmy said that technically it was after midnight and the next day, it wasn't even her day anymore. Fuel to the fire. Mina was irate on another level, saying they should have waited until they were back from their honeymoon.
What?
Okay. No.
No.
Now people are split, saying it wasn't at the wedding or during, and they shouldn't have to wait until after they were back from the honeymoon, and that is a bit much to be saying that. Others are saying that having pictures in the bridesmaid's dress was a slap in the face to the bride.
I don't think it's a slap in the face. Come on.
It's whatever. I think a slap in the face would have been to propose during the wedding itself.
Did they tell anybody about it?
Chris and Josh haven't been voicing their opinions, but Josh did apologize to Chris for causing the drama, saying he thought the venue was lovely and near a place that meant so much to all of them. Essentially, Josh thought a meaningful place, romantic evening, he thought it was the right time. He'd been carrying the ring for months. I kind of understand both sides, but I'm leaning more toward Kimmy's. She waited until Monday, and if it wasn't for the neckline of the dress being in the photo, no one would have known it was from that night. So, was Josh the a-hole for proposing that night, or is Mina being a bridezilla for expecting them not to get engaged until she was back from her honeymoon? Honeymoon was 3 weeks in Japan, and they don't leave until next week, by the way. I'm sorry, you get 1 day. Let's all make this very, very clear to everyone.
Maybe two, like the welcome party.
Maybe 2 with the bachelorette party, like 2 days max, all right? You do not get to dictate other people's pregnancies, other people's engagements, other people's plans, other people's outfits. You don't get to dictate any of that.
Yes, I agree. And also, even if it's the day after, I can understand why you might be a little bit upset that it's the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay? But to wait 3 weeks after your honeymoon, like, get the f*** out of here.
That's what's unreasonable. Yes, you can be a little bit annoyed, etc., etc.
I would be annoyed that he didn't actually mention it to, like, the bride and groom, right?
It seemed like it was just kind of like a random occurrence that he was just like, oh, this is so perfect, I'm just gonna do it right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, like maybe he didn't really plan to have it happen on that day, and like it was just the two of them. It wasn't like they made a scene. It wasn't like, they took attention away from the bride and groom on their wedding day.
Like, did they tell anyone about it? I'm sure they maybe did the next morning.
They posted it 2 days later.
And that's actually kind of nice.
To me, it was clear that they did respect the fact that they kind of wanted to have a little bit of a buffer. They waited a couple days to tell everybody.
Maybe they told their family and stuff, but kept it a secret.
Your life does not stop because someone else is getting married. We have an update.
Oh.
I invited Mina for tea to discuss the situation. I also told Kimmy to join us about 3 hours later.
Ooh.
We sat and had tea. I let Mina vent to me as to why she was angry. She felt that her wedding was used by the couple as a romantic backdrop for their proposal. I told her that she was delusional for expecting them to wait until she returned from their honeymoon to get engaged. Yeah, that's the part that's delusional.
Yeah.
I also asked her why she was mad at Kimmy rather than Josh for the proposal. Oh, that's a good point.
Very
it
good
had
point.
nothing to do with Kimmy. She's not the one that made the choice. That is telling, very telling.
It's probably about the dress more so.
Jealousy, like someone stealing her shine, you know, it not being about her. I think that people, when they come off of a wedding, are like on this high where it was like, wow, like everything is about me. Everyone
So
is
much
so
attention.
nice to me.
Babe.
And then the wedding is over and it's like, oh, now it's not really going to be about me. It's going to be about other people, and they have a hard time coming to terms with that, which is something that I have learned.
It's ironic that we are in front of the camera. I hate attention. I hate talking about myself. I just like to talk about me farts.
Another thing was that she congratulated her until Tina pointed out that she was in the bridesmaid's dress. Tina is a pot stirrer. She's also Chris's younger sister. I did get some insight from the comments and told her the only thing tarnishing the glow from her wedding day was her nasty attitude. I think the nail in the coffin was, you are taking a wonderful romantic day that should be celebrated into a nightmare. You had your day. Your friend did everything to give you that day, then waited more than 24 hours to share her own wonderful news. You then took that and not only on her day, but also left a bad taste in everyone's mouth about your wedding. Do you want your day to be remembered as you being a bridezilla and a heartless friend? Ooh. She apologized to Kimmy when she got there. We made brownies and had more girl talk. Tina was in her ear saying that Josh was showing off the ring at the wedding and telling people he was going to propose. He wasn't. Tina, an attention-seeking child that wanted to put distance between Kimmy and Mina. Little note, Tina was maid of honor for Mina, while Alex, Mina's brother, was best man for Chris. Everyone thought it was going to be cute to include the siblings for a whole family bonding thing. I think this is obviously something that you guys have worked out between you, so I'm happy to know. The bride was allowed to be just like a little bit annoyed, okay? You're allowed to have your feelings. Everybody's entitled to feel however they want to feel. You are not entitled, however, to ask people to not continue with their lives. You're not allowed to tell people not to get engaged.
Your wedding is done. The morning you wake up after your wedding, it's over.
It's over, bestie.
It's over.
It's sad. Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Everyone was looking at you and complimenting you, and everyone was there for you, celebrating you, and oh my goodness, it was so wonderful, wasn't it? But guess what? That comes to an end.
It's over. Bride in the story. I think that she's right to be annoyed, but having a tantrum about it, she's a little bridezilla. Just like a little bridezilla.
Just like a little one, you know? Just like
I'm glad that you guys sorted it out. That's
like
a good thing.
reptar-sized bridezilla.
No, you're char.
I vote bridezilla. Her day was done. Be happy for your friends. Don't give them grief. Literally, like you're kind of taking that away from them, this happy moment, by saying,
Oh, you took away my shine.
You're also tarnishing your own memory of the day. You're gonna be like, oh God, you're gonna hold on to all this resentment about how like she proposed.
And
like,
believe me, everybody's going to be more concerned with how much you're acting like a bridezilla than remembering your day as a happy day.
and maybe you won't go to the wedding. I don't know. It's not worth ruining friendships. We are on this planet for one time and make it a good time, not a bad time.
Correct. And to top it off, bridezilla demanding for them to wait until she got back from the honeymoon. And if they did, she would have said, you're ruining my honeymoon. You should have waited more. And if he waited more and she was pregnant, she would have had to say, oh, you wait until after and until, et cetera, et cetera. Her day was over. They didn't post anything until almost 2 days later. And they were super respectful. They did not make it public. They did not take away from your day, Miss Bridezilla. And that's how I feel about it.
I feel the same way.
Looking at this in other stories, it seems that this trend is going from this is my day to this is my year. You know what? That is a very good point. It is becoming like that. It's like, yes, this is the year you're getting married. So it's like, oh, you know, every conversation has to be about me and my wedding.
How many engagement parties am I going to have?
Oh my goodness.
How many showers? Why are they called showers? Oh, showering with gifts.
Showering with gifts. Yeah, we're not doing that. I don't think.
We should shower though.
We should take a shower, like you especially. But
I am stinky.
apart from that, I think we're going to have an engagement party, like our respective bachelor and bachelorette parties, and then the wedding, and that's it.
You actually want to do the wedding? Subscribe!